What was that?
Fantastic, baby.
What in the world?
Yeah, I'm not getting involved in any of what Timothy Bradley is talking about or what he's doing. I'm not sure what's going on with Timmy.
I can't even identify what he was eating right there.
It's called a BB sandwich.
A what?
A BB sandwich. BB sandwich. Bread and bacon. Bread and bacon sandwich. It's delicious.
I think we just got to get it to Mark Chinook at this point. Thank you for being you, Tim Bradley.
We return to the action here inside MGM Grand. This is boxing presented by Bob Arum's Top Rank. This bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the junior lightweight division. Our judges at ringside, Adelaide Bird, Tim Cheatham, and Dave Moretti. The man in charge at the sound of the bell, Mr. Robert Hoyle. Fighting out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 132.7 pounds, wearing red, white, and blue trunks. He brings a perfect record of 6 wins, no losses, 2 of those wins by way of knockout. From Springfield, Massachusetts, Joshua Orta. Fighting out of the red corner, presented in association with DeBella Entertainment. He weighed in at 130.8 pounds, wearing cheetah trunks with lime green trim. He also brings a perfect record of 7 wins, no losses, 4 wins by knockout. From Reading, Pennsylvania, by way of Juana Diaz, Puerto Rico, Joshafat Thrust Ортис.
And step back, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I told you what's important to me. I want you to watch those rabbit punches, okay? Don't do it. I want right here, as you see, will be a low blow. Anything on the belt line here is legal. Gentlemen, touching him up. Give me a good, clean fight.
Joshafat Ortiz, Joshua Orta, and a 4-inch height advantage for Ortiz. Orta is 5'3". But the thing that got us when it comes to body measurement with Joshua Orta is spending time with him last night. And by the way, what a greatly likable guy he is to visit with. And he's got a great backstory. When he was 16 years old, Dre, he told us he was 235 pounds. And here he is as a pro fighter, and he checked in at 132.7.
Your great story. Boxing helped to get him, just healthy and in shape. I can't believe him being that big at the height that he's at, but he's got a height differential tonight against Ortiz, and Orta, his game plan is simply to get inside and rough up Ortiz and make this an ugly fight. And Ortiz, with the 4-inch reach advantage, or height advantage, the 5-inch reach advantage, his job is to box and keep Orta on the outside. And just like any prize fight, the question is who's going to impose whose will on the other.
You see Orta still trying to figure out the range on where he needs to get to be able to get to Ortiz. You see him hesitating right now. He's trying to figure things out to make the proper adjustments to be able to land his shots. Ortiz has done a good job as of now, using his jab and controlling that range, and controlling that space.
That's too long. Give me the lock. Don't hold him. Double jab right in. Double jab the right.
So he's sticking with that jab, then gets to the inside and goes to the body.
Where my hook at? Right over there. Give me that long
Yeah,
hook.
Tess. Ortiz is just busy right now. He's keeping Orta's hands right in his pockets right now. Orta's trying to figure things out. Ortiz's quickness and punch choices right now give him a little problem.
You guys anxious to get back to business. Orta's last fight was in November of last fall. That was back in Rhode Island. Won a 6-rounder against Michael Valentin. And for Ortiz, he last fought last September back in Pennsylvania. Rasheem Jefferson, the trainer of Joshafat Ortiz, told him, "You look beautiful out there. Just keep boxing." And that is exactly what he did with that reach and height advantage in round number 1 against Joshua Orta. In that first round, Ortiz had an 11-5 connect advantage. He threw 52 punches. Orta only threw 25.
Fall in the body. Fall on my left. Fall on my left side.
Keep him up. Keep him up.
You know, sometimes when a fighter is facing a fighter like Ortiz that's very skillful, very fast, you can kind of get mesmerized by the speed and you can kind of get bewildered. Orta's got to kind of stop overthinking and just do what he's trained to do, which is get inside and go to work. Because if Ortiz fights at this pace, he can fight like this all night long.
Bernardo, what are you hearing ringside?
Rasheem Jefferson was very clear with Ortiz. He said, look, he doesn't like it when you invest to the body. Keep doing that. I don't want you to stand straight up and tall. Get a little, get little, and work to the body, and then stick him with that jab all night long.
A lot of people talk about power in boxing, but facing speed and quickness when a fighter's hitting you and you can't hit him back, that's very, very intimidating and very, very discouraging. And it's something that, especially if you know you can't meet that fighter punch for punch.
Yeah, it's discouraging, but it just means that you have to have great timing. You got to work that double in bag, work that speed bag, work on those hand mitts. You got to have, in spar, you got to have fantastic timing to be able to deal with a fighter that has hand speed and foot speed like Ortiz.
Right now, Orta is a spectator to his own fight.
Stop!
It's not the analysis you want to hear.
At the door.
If you're Orta. The spectator
He's got to
of his
get
own
engaged.
fight.
You ain't lying, Dre. He at the front door, ringing the doorbell over and over and over and over. Need to get those hands moving.
24-year-old who trains day in and day out at Springfield Central City Boxing Gym in Western Mass. Everybody raves about his work ethic, but right now he needs to come up with an answer against 7-0 Joshafat Ortiz. Inside the bubble as we take you back for round number 3 between Ortiz and Orta. Timmy, you've been liking the work you've seen from Joshafat Ortiz. Take us through it.
Yeah, Ortiz, who said that you can't go down to a shorter man's body? Yes, you can if you do it from the right range. And you see him right there at mid-range. Throws the left hook, leads with the left hook, brings the hands up of Orta, and then what do he do? Dig downstairs. Great job and great punch choices from Ortiz.
Watch the hands. Watch the hands. Right there.
You ever want to go down to the body against your opponent? Hit him up high. Hit him up high. Maybe come around with some hooks. He's going to bring that hand up to protect that hook, and then that's when you dig down to the body.
Stop!
Another problem with Orta starting slow is when you start slow against a reflex, skillful fighter who depends on speed like Ortiz, you allow him to get into a rhythm. And Ortiz is in a good rhythm right now.
He is in the rhythm right now. You right about that, but he better watch that overhand right. He's dropping that left hand, feeling himself a little bit. This fight is not over yet. You know, Dre, sometimes when it's easy like that, man, you start feeling yourself and you start dancing around, dropping your hands. It's too easy. And if you don't be cautious, you fall asleep, get a little lackadaisical on your defense, things can happen. In other words, you rest when you get back to the corner. There, that overhand right there.
Well, when Ortiz gets to the corner, he's got a young, great trainer, Rasheem Jefferson, to help him stay focused and to stay on point.
Yes, he does. Rasheem Jefferson, we grew up in the amateurs with him. He was a fantastic amateur. And he has a son that I can't wait to see. Not sure who has him or who signed him yet. But I can't wait to see his son get in this ring.
Stop! Right here. Just listen up. Stop! There we go.
Got a real attractive co-feature coming up next, and then is our heavyweight main event, plus so much to talk about in the sport. So let's give you some of the news and notes that is interesting to us. And Bud Crawford, Terrence Crawford, the undefeated welterweight champion, listening to talk of Jose Ramirez saying what his path will be, and eventually getting to Bud, says, be patient, young fella. In due time, when you're ready, I'll be right here to gladly hand you your first loss. If we get that super fight the way it's intended, watch out. Lomachenko and Lopez. News circle the date we're hearing is October 3rd. Word of it possibly being a pay-per-view. Taylor Pursoon, I think as good of a women's boxing match as we've seen in recent years. That final round, sensational. August 22nd, can't wait to see that. And Ryan Garcia, Mark Kriegel, it keeps bubbling up with his promoter, the Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya, now quoted as saying, pay me or let me go. Ryan Garcia, top lightweight prospect, he of great social media fame and follows, who is such a promising,
Let's listen up, watch the head.
blossoming star. Trouble with Oscar.
At some point, the interests of the star and the promoter diverge. That's what happened with De La Hoya and Bob Arum years ago. It led to the formation of Golden Boy. By then, though, Oscar was a multi-division champion, a huge star. Ryan Garcia is almost 22. He doesn't have a belt. Some of this has to do with his relationship with Oscar, which, as Mike Coppinger of The Athletic reported, is as testy as it seems to be with Canelo. The difference between Ryan Garcia and all the guys who came before him, it's not a belt that gives him leverage. As you said, Joe, it's his huge social media following.
Yeah, but Mark, and you know, you bring up a great point of mentioning, listen, we've seen this before, but typically it happens in the case of Oscar De La Hoya himself. He's established. He actually is a star, and he wants to get paid like a star. But social media fandom and follows doesn't exactly translate to TV and live event paychecks. There are plenty of people on social media who have millions of follows who are not getting primetime TV shows or live event appearances that relate to their social media followings. Ryan Garcia may be a star in the ring at some point. He may be. I mean, he's very, very promising. But something's a little off early on here between those two.
Yeah, well, you should tell that to the YouTube stars who made themselves into main eventers. I mean, this is just a reality of the world that we live in. I know that you and I didn't come up with social media because we're old guys, or at least I am. But this is the world in which we live, and I think that Ryan Garcia has navigated it pretty well.
There's no doubt about it, and I think we will find out how well he navigates inside the ropes with what could be his path coming up if that Luke Campbell fight happens. He's a promising star, but trouble with the promoter Oscar De La Hoya right now. He is not happy. Round 4 here, Ortiz and Orta.
And listen, Oscar De La Hoya better pay that young man. He better pay that young man. You know, I like Ryan Garcia. Young man got a lot of skills. How much more he got to prove his worth? How much more? What does he need to do? He can fight Campbell, no problem. I think he knocks out Campbell, or maybe even hurt him really badly. This kid is 5'10". He has hand speed, punching power in both hands. He has skills, boxing skills as well. How much more? Pay the young man, and he got 6.5 million followers. People are going to watch it.
Hey Tim, if those 6.5 are buying 80, if those 6.5 by $80 pay-per-views, I'm all in. I agree. 4-year-olds from the East Coast. Orta 6-0, Ortiz 7-0. Ortiz has seemingly been in control. He has a 50-39 connect advantage as we start round number 5. Back to the jabs, a Joshafat Ortiz. We've said for a while now, Orta's got to find a solution. Bernardo, what are they saying in that corner of Orta and Michael Rodriguez?
Come on, let's keep it clean. There we go.
And Michael Rodriguez says, look, we've got to feint. He's got to use his head movement to get inside. We need a big round here. Validi's slowing down. We cannot respect him anymore.
Well, that real estate will help them as they open up and they trade right in the center of the ring there at short distance.
Orta with the right hand. Now that the only Ortiz is fighting Orta's fight right now. He was having his way on the outside, and now he's giving the young gun a chance.
Stop. There we go. There we go.
I don't have a problem with Ortiz stepping to Orta right now. He's outboxed him every round, so why not go in there and see what he's working with? But I would just say keep your chin down while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you've outboxed an opponent, you just feel like going inside and beating him a different way. But you do see Orta wake up because that's where he wants to be. So just understand that when you go inside if you're Ortiz.
Yeah, all of a sudden those short arms aren't so short when you're Joshua Orta and your opponent's right next to you, right on top of you.
That's right. It's almost like Orta saying, thank you. This is exactly where I wanted you all night long. See the body language of Orta just pick up. He comes alive all of a sudden because he's finally hit the target.
Stop.
See him pawn at that right eye. Joshua Orta, see if a cut may have opened up on that last exchange.
Watch the hands. Stop.
Right now, if I'm in the corner of Orta, I'm telling my boy, punch with him. Punch with him. Loop the shots over the top. Look for the right hand.
Right hand to the body. Was able to get in there. So much more infighting here in round number 5. 1 to go from Vic. Well, after that last round, the corner of Joshafat Ortiz was Stitch Duran was dealing with a cut near the right eye. Let's check in with Bernardo.
Commission looked at the replay, and it was an accidental headbutt. That's what they let referee Robert Hoyle know about. But it was interesting because in that exchange, it was Orta who was rubbing his eye and ended up being Ortiz with the cut.
6th and final round here. 2 unbeatens. Our co-feature is coming up with Carlos Castro, who's 25-0, and he's trying to position himself for a junior featherweight title shot. Cesar Juarez has fought twice for world championships. Then it's our heavyweight main event. By the way, guys, we just, went through the news and notes, and I know the issue with Ryan Garcia and his concern with his relationship with Oscar De La Hoya took so much of our attention. But there's also bubbling news concerning Emmanuel Navarrete, the 122-pound champion in the WBO, and we saw this coming over the course of the past year, that he most likely will be exiting and heading to featherweight. So there could be the opportunity for a vacant title fight at 122 pounds. That is something that Pitufo Diaz was talking about a few weeks ago when he fought on our air, that he would like to go to 122 and challenge for a belt there. So maybe an opportunity for Carlos Castro in our co-feature, if he looks impressive and wins, to potentially fight for a vacant belt.
Let's break one.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Emmanuel Navarrete invade the featherweight division. I want to see how he looks like and what he looks like when he doesn't have to kill himself to make 122 pounds. And if his work rate is even stronger than it is right now at 22.
And Tim, what could be interesting is we are going to hear from Shakur Stevenson in just a little bit. Shakur, it's not official yet, but he is openly talking about going to 130 pounds. We don't know what the destination is in terms of an opponent. But if then his belt opens up, it could be Navarrete fighting for that title at 126 pounds. But I agree with you, with his frame and being long, we saw how devastating it was at 122. He's going to be something at featherweight.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be something at featherweight as well. Even though his last fight, I thought it was all right. You know, it wasn't a challenging type of opponent, but he did what he had to do. But he just got to fill out, grow into that weight at 126.
Good effort from Ortiz and Orta down the stretch here as they go the full 6. Chance to exhale. Tim, your takeaway on Ortiz and Orta.
You know, Ortiz, to me, he looked good starting out, jabbing, controlling the range, was beautiful. It was easy for him, and then he got tired or maybe even possibly lazy. And then you see Orta come on at the back end of the fight, landing some big shots, big head clash right there. So he's going home. He got to get stitched up. But it was a good performance. I don't know who won the fight, not sure, but good performance by Ortiz.
But Tim, to your point, the last 2 rounds, Dre, to Timmy's point, in the last 2 rounds, Orta outlanded Ortiz 36-24 when it was at closer range.
Yeah, but I think Ortiz put enough rounds in the bank in the first 4 rounds. I'm not sure why he went inside. I don't know if that was the game plan from what Rasheem Jefferson was saying. It didn't sound like it, if it was laziness or just fatigue. But he made things a lot harder than it had to be down the stretch. It could have been an easy night with no bumps, no bruises, or no cuts. But he's got to deal with that cut on the way home to Philly. Learning experience, but I think he did enough to win the fight tonight.
We'll hear from the judges in a moment, and then we will have our heavyweight main event to cap the night. Carlos Takam, who fought Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight belts, will be in the main event. He is looking for the 39th win of his career. The old warhorse of this generation of the heavyweight division. Gatekeeper for sure. He's been against big names. He's in against Jerry Forrest tonight, who got Tim Bradley's attention because when we came on the air, he was eating a roast beef sandwich. Here is Jerry.
Tim Bradley, you know you like that sandwich thing, too. That's why you ate a sandwich, Tim Bradley.
Yeah, I did. I had to go get myself a sandwich, buddy. Absolutely. I loved it. You know what? I'm just giving you guys the facts, man. 3 to 5 hours before your fight, you need to fight on an empty stomach.
Let's hear from the judges after Ortiz and Orta. Here's Mark Chinook.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Dave Moretti has the bout 57-57. Adelaide Bird and Tim Cheatham have the bout 58-56 for your winner by majority decision, Joshafat Thrust Ортис.
Majority decision win for Joshafat Ortiz. He is now 8-0. Orta suffers the first loss of his career. Good effort down the stretch. He's now 6-1. We're going to hear from Shakur Stevenson soon enough. Then it's our heavyweight main event. Good co-feature coming your way too.